Hello and welcome to CEAZOR Snack Sandwich. Today we're going to take a look at WigoSwap. Now, one of my community members asked me to take a look at this. So I went through the docs, I read the docs, I read the audit by Certec and stuff. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty interesting. It's pretty standard for the most part when it comes to swaps and farms and stuff like that. However, they have this gamified burning mechanism that's supposed to, keep the price of the Wigo token from dumping too much and so forth. So anyways, we'll get into that when I go into the docs, but let's go quickly through the app and just take a look at what some of the features inside. So obviously there is a swap. You can basically swap your tokens from one token to another, and the liquidity is all from inside this app. They're not sourcing liquidity from other sources, like, none of these are being routed through other exchanges. Provide liquidity, simple, come in here, choose the tokens you want to provide liquidity. But it seems to me that there's only one sort of LP, the constant product. So, the same, if you were to provide two stablecoins, it's the same math that's being used for the other ones, basically. Anyhow, that's long as you don't get a lot of slippage, I think that's the main key point. So let's say if we do go to swap here, and let's do some stablecoin swap like USDC for DAI, and then we just do a large number. Let's go first with, so that's $1 million, 13% slippage. So, maybe the liquidity is just not deep enough yet, but I'll go into that later. But anyhow, there is that to consider. The slippage is quite high on two stablecoin swaps. Okay, so go into liquidity, earn. So now they have these farms where you can earn the Wigo tokens. And if we go down through them, the APYs look pretty good. Especially, of course, this is the governance token. The APY is always going to be high. But let's go down, check some of the stablecoins and stuff. They have these stablecoin pairs, like 18% on USDC DAI, which is pretty good. And the total liquidity says $12 million. But as you can see, with $12 million, when I tried to swap that, I got quite a bit of slippage still, right? So there's quite a bit of liquidity in some of these pools. 1 million, 800,000 beats 1 million. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of liquidity in them already, but the APYs are still holding on pretty well. So that's pretty good. Now, that's assuming that people are not selling the tokens all the time. So what can you do with this Wigo token? Obviously, you can provide to the two pool and get these APYs here. However, you can put it into what they call the Wigo Bank. Now, this is the key feature of, one of the key features of this project is there's two types of staking, okay? So you stake it, single-sided stake into standard or auto compound. And the standard is basically, you just put it in there, you get an APR of 872%, and then you can just collect your Wigo and do with them as you please. So that's maybe why there's no selling pressure right now on this Wigo token, or the Wigo token's holding its price, and that APR is and those APRs are holding their price on the other farms, is because people can just put it here and get 800% and have nothing, right? So now they do have this APY 600,000% on auto compounding. And basically this is like a vault where it auto compounds, and the bots can come in here anytime, or you can come here and just, click this, and you're going to get these 4 Wigo tokens, or however many there are at the current time. And you're going to pay the gas, right, to auto compound this vault. Now there is fees on the automatic vault. There's an unstaking fee within 72 hours. So if you stake it and then try to pull out in 3 days, then you're going to pay a small fee. But and there's also a 2% performance fee. So every time this is clicked, 2% of that, those rewards are given to the Gamified Burning thingy. Okay, so here's the Gamified Burning mechanism. Currently, they have these things. Let's just go through them. So 2% of every harvest on the automatic staking vault. So like I said, whenever a bot triggers that, or when somebody triggers that, then 2% of those are taken and burned. Okay, 0.5% of the unstake within 3 days. So if you leave early, that those tokens that are the fee you pay is all burned. And then 0.1% of every swap is on the WigoSwap is also used to buy back and burn every week the Wigo token. Now the liquidity pools, let's go to the liquidity pool, open this into tab. The liquidity pool fees and talk about some of the fees. The fees on the liquidity pools are quite low. So the liquidity pool fees are 0.19%, and the 1% is, like I said, taken and given to that burning mechanism here, right? So now they do talk about these other things in the future. These are very vague though, and it's a little bit hard. Like, you know, you'd have to go in and ask them what do they mean by all of these things in order, and they're going to use these somehow to burn more of the Wigo token in the future. So maybe you're bullish on the Wigo token, maybe you're not, but these are things to consider whether or not you're bullish on it. And of course, you know, they have all the tokenomics in here. You can go through and you can check and make sure whether or not you feel that the team has too many tokens, what is the vesting schedule and all that. But you have to keep in mind the burning as well, which is something that you can't predict because it's all based on usage and the interaction of people. Now, the thing that makes this really good is they spent a lot of time. They put the website looks good. The UI is crisp and fast. I've actually, you know, done some swaps on it and provided a little bit of liquidity, and I went through here. It's quick, it's snappy, it's good. So the website's done well. Okay, they have good. The docs is very thorough. It's very good at, like, in the sense, like, it explains simple concepts quite well. So it's very user friendly for like new people. When new people come here and they're like, well, what's a liquidity pool? They can come in here and they can read, like, you know, what are liquidity pools? This is a good example of like, how does the trading fee accrue to people in permanent loss? So they did a good job. They put in a lot of effort to make the docs very thorough and very full and understandable. They've got all of their contracts listed here, which is good. And the GitHub is public with all of the Solidity contracts inside. And then the Certec audit, I did read through the PDF, and it shows that, you know, they did have some issues, but mostly it was about the major issues were mostly about just like the admin keys had some attack vectors. Basically, like they were using a single wallet address to be the admin instead of a multi-sig, and they did that. So they've resolved all the issues that Certec brought to their attention. So I don't know. You know, like I said, there's nothing super special except for this gamified burning mechanism. So, but I do think the APYs are pretty good, and it's, you know, maybe it's worth some of your liquidity and some of your bullishness. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.